There's a pretty big update in the case of Alex Pretti, the man who was unfortunately killed by a Border Patrol agent a few days ago. And there's new footage out there that shows him about 12 or 13 days ago having another run-in with the agents.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy.
In the video, we see Alex pretty agitated and riled up. He ends up kicking the right light completely out. It's kind of wild actually, but he ends up kicking the light out of a vehicle and all the agents get out and he gets another tussle. They tackle him to the floor. He loses his jacket, pulls away from them, and they seemingly don't arrest him. They kind of just leave again. Kind of odd. It's kind of almost the exact opposite of what ends up happening. About 12 days later, he ends up getting in a very over-exaggerated battle where the agents end up escalating the entire thing after pushing a woman. This is almost the exact opposite. You actually see a lot of restraint from the agents. Like they rough him up a little bit, but there's like no consequences. He doesn't even go to jail. He doesn't even seem to get arrested. I think maybe they're more focused on just getting out of the heat, just getting out of the area. So it's like different and the same. It's different in the sense of where things don't get escalated a lot more, but it's pretty similar in the sense of they all get out and kind of dogpile him. They outnumber him. Now, at first when this footage came out, a lot of people thought it was AI. I was skeptical because of the source. The source was from a media page called The News Movement, and they hadn't posted before this since the middle of last year. So they don't seem to be super active. Now, maybe they got lucky and one of their few reporters were in the area or filming the protest a few weeks ago and they noticed a familiar face or who seemed to be a familiar face in the footage. And now they finally got to, sending the clip out. They did say that BBC verified the footage using like facial technology. I guess there's a place on their website where you can submit footage and do facial recognition. And they did that, but at first BBC didn't seem to acknowledge this. There wasn't anything on their website, but after some time, BBC did end up putting out a clip that showed the footage. I'll play it right here just to confirm that. Not that I trust BBC very much, but now we have them reposting the footage and basically confirming this. This is when I started to realize the footage was probably real despite it seeming a little sketchy at first. I think the sketchiness was maybe just by chance, A lesser known journalist happened to catch the footage and notice this later. It happens, it does happen, especially in big stories like this. We see all these people holding their phones out and filming these interactions and whatnot. It can happen. You don't have to be like a huge journalist to catch this stuff, so I'll give that a pass. What really made this seem legit and be impossible to be AI is after this video was revealed, people were then able to find videos from a similar day and a similar time, and they're able to find other videos of other angles on YouTube, probably filmed by bystanders on their phone. And there was footage that lined up exactly with what was being shown by this media company and BBC. This footage showed a farther away, opposite angle view of Alex kicking the car and having his interaction with the agents. This really confirmed it for me because this video went super under the radar. It was just uploaded to YouTube as like a normal Border Patrol agent or ICE encounter, and it was 13 days old, never mentioned Alex Pretti. It was just someone seemingly filming one of these encounters, and people were able to find this footage after kind of lining up the dates with the other video going around. So here's the thing, the footage seems legitimate, but it really doesn't change anything. The consequence for kicking a car or getting between another person and an agent is not death. And that has always been the point of the story. That has always been my critique. Feds should not be able to kill people, at least with no immediate threat on their life, which there wasn't. Alex Pretti was down, disarmed, and outnumbered. There was no threat of life. And for the people saying that a gun went off, that was because the agent took his gun and mishandled it. It was a malfunction, best case scenario. And I think what caused his death at that point, best case, is miscommunication on the agent's part. This should be seen as a tragedy, period, and the people that are condoning this are actually only hurting their cause because it's making them look bad. This is the kind of stuff that gets ICE pulled from your city. So if you like this, I would say you shouldn't be cheering this on because it's just kind of making it look worse. Some people would even say this is a conspiracy theory where they're kind of purposely making ICE look worse. They're maybe purposely trying to get people outraged so they have to pull back. You know, if you really believe in like psyops and whatnot, some would say this. That's how convenient this looks. That's how like kind of cartoonishly bad this looks. Speaking of conspiracy theories, there's people that are suggesting that Alex Pretti might have been intentionally targeted a couple weeks later. We've seen the footage of the agent taking a picture of a lady that was filming and saying, "Have fun being a domestic terrorist, I'm uploading you to the database." This seems like there's a lot of new sketchy technology at play, invasive technology, the kind of stuff that might be, you know, facially recognizing people. Sounds like they're putting them in databases. They might have had beef with Alex. They might have, you know, cut him less slack next time we've seen him. We've all heard of cops, you know, getting extra aggressive of people they've continuously had a problem with. This could be one of those cases. Alex might have not necessarily been injured or attacked or killed over the exact actions he did the day he died, but this could have been even like a vendetta being acted out from weeks before or other events. And of course, I shouldn't have to tell anyone that's not okay either. This is government overstep, this is invasion of our rights, our privacy. This is some sketchy technology that can open up a whole other can of worms. And if this is the case, this is pretty scary, right? Because Alex could have upset people almost 2 weeks ago and then faced consequences for that later. That doesn't set a good precedent for anyone. There's still people to this day that say the whole Luigi story is so sketchy in court because even if he did do it, they caught him using like illegal technology or at least secret technology they don't want us to know about. And if they present that in court or use that as evidence, we will know about it. So they have to kind of figure out other ways to pin it on him, like perhaps like showing up at the McDonald's and putting a gun in his backpack, something like that. So like they know it's him, but they can't tell us how they know it's him, if that makes sense. Once again, not saying I necessarily believe that either, but anything's possible. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. So does the video look good? No, of course not. But one thing's for sure, I have to give Alex credit here. He didn't just talk, he acted, you know. In his mind, at the very worst, he believed he was doing something good. A lot of people out there are gonna disagree. A lot of people already do. Unfortunately, some people are even saying, you know, he got himself into this and aren't sad something happened to him. I don't think that's ever okay. Now I have to say, one thing's for sure to Alex's credit, he didn't just talk the talk, he acted. You know, in his world, he was doing the right thing. A lot of people are gonna disagree with him. A lot of people already are, but in his world, he was doing the right thing. He seemed very passionate about this. This meant something to him and he did something about it. There's a lot of things we could put that kind of energy into, you know, doing more than just saying things. Now, of course, I'm not talking about doing anything illegal or doing anything that could harm anyone or even yourself, but just caring that much about something, you know. Bottom line is, nothing really changes from this story. It doesn't look good, but it still doesn't justify death. Like I said earlier, none of this stuff, nothing Alex did, the consequences of the death penalty. You know, it's like a little bit of jail time, a worst case scenario. And the part a lot of people are missing is that when a life is snuffed out, they miss the chance to learn from it and grow from it. Yeah, he wasn't super young, but he's still 37. People can calm down. People can learn. People can grow. People can learn from consequences. This is sad. This is tragic. This is a life that ended too soon. A person who no longer has the opportunity to learn or do better and grow from this. And I think that's kind of something that people who don't agree with Alex should think about. This is someone who no longer has the ability to change. One more thing, while I was skeptical when this video first came out, well, once again, it kind of came out of nowhere and it wasn't like a confirmed, reliable source or anything. There's people who are still saying it's AI and acting like that's confirmed fact. On my X account, I shared a thread with like 3 different sources and I detailed how this can't be fake anymore. And people are still commenting saying like, hey, idiot, this is confirmed fake. You fell for it. But it doesn't seem to be. There's a 13-day video from a different angle that didn't even seem to post it within that context. So it doesn't seem fake. And it seems like the people who are passing this off as AI are actually considering that as fact without the evidence. So just something to think about. Always keep an open mind. Don't consider anything shut. Stuff always comes out, stuff always changes. Heck, maybe things will change again. Maybe it will end up, this was a 13-day planned in advance PSYOP or something. Who knows? Doesn't seem likely because no one would have known about this, but who knows? There's a lot of people out there saying that Alex made a dumb decision and cost his life. And even if you think that, it's still sad. There's still a tragedy. People shouldn't be dying in encounters with the feds. But you know, I just hope that in Alex's world, he feels like he did the right thing. He seems passionate about this. Seems like he went to a lot of these events. Hopefully this is something that he already believed was worth dying for, and this meant something to him. Even if you disagree with him, it is important to fight for things you believe in. I think it's important to remember that Alex might be, you know, a victim of like the media and the outrage going on. There's like people on both sides have never been more upset, more angry. It's almost like the media wants a civil war that we need to not give them. We need to not be distracted. We need to not fall for this. Only the people get hurt in incidents like these. The same politicians that keep tweeting out and angering their bases on both sides, they get to sit in their $1 million mansions and they're safe. They have no consequences to this. And while I'm not saying they should, the people definitely shouldn't. Only the people get hurt. Don't give them the fight they want. Don't distract from everything else going on in the world. Never give them what they seem to be going for. If all the propaganda accounts are saying to do this, if all the politicians are acting like this is a thing, you need to ignore it because they build these things up for months, maybe even years. What I'm getting at is Alex can be just another victim in this. He's someone who has read too much, heard too much, seen too much, that has radicalized him. There's probably another world where Alex never felt the need to do this and was never so angry about this and is still alive. And people on the other side need to remember too, they're just as angry as Alex is, but at Alex. Remember that. Remember that you could be that angry person who kicks the car of a liberal protester trying to get away. And now you look bad on camera and now you get hurt and the other side is gonna say you deserved it and you shouldn't have been there. The stuff comes around. The pendulum really does swing. It's just important to keep that in mind. If you want the government to have more power to deal with the current people you don't like, that power is then going to be used on you later. If not very soon, at least if the Democrats win again next time. So for you on the other side, just remember that. You can't take away power once you give it to them. All in all, this is an unfortunate story, and it's kind of just getting worse on both ends as more information comes out. This is just really messy. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Let's talk about it.